What's going on, everyone? This is Chris around the ATL on a Monday night after the Super Bowl. For those who are interested in the Super Bowl, right? It was a decent game, though. NFC won. That's all we can say as Falcons fans, at least, right? Well, another team has multiple Super Bowls, not the Atlanta Falcons, though, because we just don't have a good organization, unfortunately, that can give you sustained winning over multiple decades and get you multiple rings with multiple different players on the roster, right? Now, as I get started tonight, just as a reminder, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, but it's probably not going to happen. But a couple of things. I'm getting over illness a little bit, which is why I haven't really been on at all over a while, along with terrible work schedule. But also tonight, I got stopped by the police right before I got home. Just got stopped by the police. You want to know why I got stopped? Because my license plate light was out, and he just pulled me over. I was seconds away from getting home. I was pressing the gate key to open up the gate, and he just stopped me. And then he hit around the corner so I couldn't see him. Gave me a warning. I'm like, after all that, it took 10 minutes for him to write up a warning, by the way. What happened? What would have happened if my tail light had been out? Anyway, I made it home, so I decided I was still going to do this episode despite all that. Okay. So tonight we're going to talk about two things primarily. If I can figure all this out again. They've changed every time I come on here, they've changed and added stuff. In fact, let's test something because there's something here that I did not expect. Wow, it worked. What is this? Gone. I think that was a bounce. So yeah, I just had to test those out. So there's a few new things on here, so I'm gonna try them out as the night progresses. But tonight we're gonna talk about two things: trade deadline and the Atlanta Hawks, okay, and whether or not you feel these moves are helping the team or not. And then we're gonna talk about defense, something that some people are in denial about, whether or not it's important or not. There are people who don't think defense is important. They prove it. They've been proving it all season long, and especially now. They have never cared about defense. They've never cared about it, and I can prove it. So let's talk about the trades first, okay? There were a lot of trades that the Atlanta Hawks made prior to the trade deadline, at the trade deadline, right? And whether or not you feel that these moves are making the Hawks a contender or not, well, we'll let you be the judge of that. I'm gonna roll through them, okay? And you just say it in your head. Yes, no, yes. Is this making us a contender? Because again, since people got what they wanted, okay, everything else after that should be success. Chris, it doesn't work like that. Why not? That's what we were told. I demand it. I need to see a championship this year, next year, or the year after that. Because otherwise, what are we talking about? I'm going to get to that. Let's talk about the trades. First trade I'll talk about, of course, is the one that acquired CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. So let's see what they did tonight in a random game. Oh, well, the Atlanta Hawks lost 138 to 116 tonight. CJ had a good game, I guess. He took 25 shots, 38 points. Corey Kispert was 4-12 tonight, 1-7 from 3. He did have 7 rebounds, though, and 4 assists at 12 points. I'll go ahead and run down the rest of this real quick since I'm on it. because one of the other topics I'm going to talk about is defense. And here's another game where the Atlanta Hawks have given up 118 points in a game and they lost. I'm going to get into that in detail in a second. Nobody cares though, right? Nobody cares that in our lineup tonight, start lineup, minus 19, minus 16, minus 27, minus 25, minus 18, plus minus. Nobody cares about none of that, right? Doesn't matter at all. Don't matter at all? Are we sure? I'm asking, are we sure about that? I think it matters. How many points in the paint did we give up, Chris? Well, we gave up 70 points in the paint. Doesn't matter. 25 fast break points don't matter. It don't matter. Just shrug your shoulders and just chop it up. Oh, well, you know, we can't be competitive. This was a scheduled loss. And, you know, we can't stop Anthony Edwards. And, you know, man, Minnesota had 36 assists tonight. We out-rebounded the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. At least we didn't lose that. Crazy. Anyway, so we got C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. That's all we could do with trading away one of the best players in the NBA. Traded one of the best players in the NBA for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. The organization will always be remembered for doing that, no matter what. Okay, so that's fine. There you go. So, who else did we get? We got Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. Now, Kuminga ain't going to play until after the All-Star break, maybe, I guess. But we did do one smart thing. Finally, we fixed the issue. One of the issues, the mistake. We rolled the dice in getting Kristaps Porzingis in here, and it didn't work. And we let it didn't work for 3 months instead of fixing that problem. The problem, he can't play. And we just let it go. We just let it go. We let it fester. We let him play 1 game a month. Tease everybody. Oh, man, look what he can do when he's on the floor. Jalen Johnson, Porzingis, and that other player never got a chance to play together a lot. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened. What had happened was, but it didn't happen. So we got rid of Porzingis. We got Kuminga, who's a decent player. Buddy Hield, he can hit some threes, which comes into play since we got rid of the other three-point shooter that we had, right? So what were some of the other trades? Cash considerations. We got Jock Landale in that space where now you have somebody legitimate that you can bring up off the bench if you choose to use him. How many minutes did Jock play tonight? Let's see. Let's find out. Because choice is powerful, right? Okongwu played 33 minutes tonight, was 4 of 9 from the floor. He had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 14 points. Minus 27 plus minus. Jock in 18 minutes was 4 or 5 from the floor. Had 6 rebounds. So at 18 minutes versus 33 minutes, you don't think at a certain point, after seeing what Jock did in his first game, playing major minutes on the court, and getting 26 points, 11 boards, 4 blocks, you don't think at a certain point, maybe let's switch some stuff up. Because you need what Jock can do more than Okongwu coming in and shooting some threes that he may or may not hit. Sure, 36% is better than whatever he shot in his past, but my goodness, do we really need to keep shooting these threes like that? I'm just asking. Now, I took me a lozenge for my throat, so hopefully it'll get me through this. How many threes did we shoot tonight, by the way? Y'all want to know how many? Did shooting 45 threes help us win this game tonight? Did it? I'm asking. I'm asking all of you now. But we got Jock Landale, so sometimes if we let him play, he'll be productive. But hey, 18 minutes, 12 points, 6 boards. He did his job. He did his job. What else did we do on the trade side of things? Well, we also ended up with Gabe Vincent. What did Gabe Vincent do tonight? Let's go find out. He was 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 4 from 3. He did have 4 assists, though, and 3 steals at 2 points. What did we give up to get him? The best three-point shooter in the NBA. Interesting logic. We also went on and got rid of Vit. Now, one thing with Vit for me was the fact that if he's not hitting his shot consistently, again, and this is years in the making, he doesn't play any defense. So if you're going to do, I didn't anticipate the Hawks getting rid of both of their three-point shooters, but in the long run, this could help the team out a little bit to an extent, because those are 2 players, Vit and Luke, who don't play good defense at all. And again, I've pointed this out in millions of hours of game film, especially with Vit. Vit gives up a lot of points for the minutes that he plays. Okay? We've had a lot of players give up a lot of points. I don't want to talk about defense so much right now. I'm just talking about trades. But in the long run, this could help. However, there's a lot of pressure on who's left to hit some shots. Now, do we have enough to be able to do that? Remains to be seen. But again, since we have and again, do these trades make us better or not? Like, ask the question out loud and see if it sticks to that. Because are you expecting Gabe Vincent to take up that slack that gap of threes that Luke is hitting, at the consistency that he was hitting them? Who are you relying on? Now, yeah, you got CJ McCollum. He can hit them at a good rate. NAW is not a great three-point shooter. He just isn't. Sorry, he's not. He's not that three-point shooter guy. He's not a pure shooter like that. He's a scorer. He's not a shooter. You can't rely on Zach right now. Again, Zach was 7 of 10 for the few minutes he played the other night. What did he do tonight, y'all? 20 minutes again, 1 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 6 from 3. Can't depend on that. Can you? I don't think you can. Again, Corey Kispert, 1 of 7 from 3 tonight. So where are we getting this from? Again, we shot 45 threes just to shoot 31%. Did we win the game doing that? No. Why do we do it? Because we don't have nothing else to go to. So will these trades help us in any kind of way? Well, Chris, JJ and Dyson weren't playing tonight. It shouldn't matter. You should still be able to compete. Right? We got all this talent. NAW was starting. CJ is out there. He was 12 of 25 tonight. He was 5 of 9 from 3 tonight. He was 9 of 11 from the free throw line tonight. He had 38 points. We couldn't get nobody else to contribute. Mohamed Gay at least had double figures at 10 and 7 tonight. So that's something. Too bad it wasn't consistent. Which brings me to my point, actually, in regards to the trades. Okay. And again, right now I'm talking trade deadline. If your whole point of acquiring players is to put better players around someone, why not do that all the time? Because we could have been did that. Could have been did that. And we chose not to. Again, because this is not the first time in Hawks history we basically wasted time with really, 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 really good players on the team. It's not the first time, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into my other show that I was going to do, but there's things I'm going to talk about in a second that's going to go into that a little bit. I don't want to try to get off topic too much tonight. So with the trade deadline, we have an all-star that is, an all-star. Where's the help? And how soon is it going to be when people are going to start looking at him the same way as our previous all-star? Because I've been told, well, he don't have a championship. His accomplishments don't mean nothing. Team ain't winning, so what he does doesn't matter. What he does, the things that he's doing, it don't matter. So when will you start doing that with Jalen Johnson, his triple doubles? How many wins have we had with the triple doubles? Do we have a lot of wins? Because see, as of tonight, we have 29 losses, guys. We have 29 losses this season. And I said 3 weeks ago in a random sports page that we needed to have a 10-game win streak. When we beat the Suns weeks ago, seems so long ago, right? When we beat the Suns, I said, well, that ended the losing streak. We need to win 9 more in a row so we can end up 30-25 and have a shot to salvage the season. So whatever we got to do to that, we got to do it. And some people were like, man, Chris, I don't know if the team's good enough to do that. And I'm like, well, why not? Because the reason that I was told that we can't win is gone now. So there shouldn't be any more excuses, right? And then the general manager said, you know what, let's try to fix some of these mistakes and errors. Let's try to mix this up a little bit more. Let's try to do something more. Are these moves going to work to get us out of this hole? Because, see, the Charlotte Hornets are right behind the Hawks now. There's a chance the Hawks might not even make the play-in. How do you level with anybody and say, well, getting rid of that other player made the Hawks better? How can you say that? How can you say that? I just want someone to answer that question. So with those trades, where we are right now. So like I said, the Hawks have 29 losses right now. But did you also know, because now we're going to talk about, dun, dun, dun. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I have sound effects now. Let me see if I can get an appropriate one. See, now I'm scared to open it. Okay, I can't do this while I'm doing the show. Okay, that was slow. There we go. Defense. I'll figure this out another night. But we're going to talk about defense now, because with this loss tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves, okay, the Hawks now have 21 losses when giving up 118 points or more in a game, okay? I want you to think about something. The former player that no longer plays here was involved in 6 of those games. What about the other 15 losses? What about the other 15 losses? Giving up 118 more points a game in games not involved that other player, the player that everybody says, well, he's the reason. He's the worst defender ever. And again, I've shown for almost 3 years now of game film, he wasn't the one giving up all the points. I've shown you that. I've shown it to you. All you got to do is go to past episodes of Around the ATL and you can see it for yourself. You don't got to believe me. You pull up the game film like I did and show it to you, frame for frame, possession for possession. He hasn't been here and we keep losing. What's the excuse now? The Hawks are 11-11 since December 27th, y'all. You know what December 27th is? That was the last time that player played in uniform. And we're 11-11 since then. Those 15 losses, those 11 losses since December 20th, that's why we are in the position that we're in. 29 losses, just enamored in 10th in the East. Just can't get out of it. And no one has a reason No one has a way to explain how do we keep giving up all these points. I'll tell you in a second. But here's what I want to break down for you. I'm going to try to do this quickly, though, because it's a lot of information, but it's all factual information. You can go look it up yourself. When that former player came back for the first time, he played 20 minutes in his first game, played 6 minutes in the second quarter. How did that one player give up 43 points in the second quarter by himself? He played 6 minutes of that time. You really want to say out loud that you believe that that player gave up 43 points in the quarter? No one else on the team had nothing to do with that. He didn't play the fourth quarter of that game. How did he give up 26 points in the fourth quarter that he didn't play in? I'm just asking a question because that's the player that people have made to be the person that everything is their fault and no one else has accountability of playing basketball on the Atlanta Hawks for 7 years. No one else had a job. So explain the fourth quarter of that one game. Who's guarding Con Knuppel? Who had 11 points in that quarter? Or LaMelo Ball, who had 7 points in that quarter? The fourth quarter, the quarter that we lost the game. We lost that game by 7 points, by the way. You gave up 20 fast break points in that game, 50 points in the paint, 11 second chance points. Hornets hit 50% from three that night. Who was guarding everybody? The very next game that we played, that other player didn't play. We gave up 126 points to the Spurs. So how do you blame that player for giving up 126 points to the Spurs? See, that's how you know no one cared about defense. The very next game after that, the Bulls game. Yes, indeed, we gave up 152 points. Yes, indeed, that one player gave up 19 points out of 152. So who gave up the other points? I'll tell you. Okongwu gave up 26. JJ gave up 25. Dyson Daniels gave up 21. You had three players give up 72 points in a 2-point loss, and no one has nothing to say about them. Also gave up 66 points in the paint in that game. We also gave up 43% from three in that game. Meanwhile, that former player and JJ were stat stuffing, apparently. JJ had 36 and 9. The other player had 35 and 9. In the same game together. Nobody else has no responsibilities, right? Nobody else. Don't matter. Defense doesn't matter. The very next game, we gave up 126 points. That former player had 22 and 15, right? But the Hawks gave up 64 points in the paint in that game, 19 second chance points in that game, 10 fast break points, and a 3-point loss. The fourth quarter of that game, the Bulls scored 34 points. Let me give you a little bit of an example here. Collins didn't score on that former player. Giddey didn't score on the former player. I'm giving you possession for possession right now. Who scored in that fourth quarter? Vucevic didn't score on that former player. Buzelis didn't score on that former player. Giddey didn't score again on that former player. White didn't score on that former player. Now, Kevin Huerter did get a basket on that former player. He did, 2 points. Jones didn't score on that former player. White didn't hit a three on that former player. Jones didn't drive from the 3-point line all the way to the basket for a layup on that former player. And then Giddey did score on that former player, 4 points. So in the fourth quarter, the Bulls scored 34 points. That player gave up 4. Who scored the other 30-plus points? It don't matter. We lost the game by 3. All those other points, that's 30-plus points, guys. Come on, guys. Let's get it together on this defense thing. Now, that Knicks game was a disaster. That was a bad game. That was the last game that player ever played for the team. You want to give them a loss on that one? Sure, let's give them that one. What about all the other losses, though? Because the next game was that Miami game. Conga was 5 of 16 from the floor, 0 of 5 from 3. Zach had 5 points. Dyson had 8 points. Again, you got that former player and JJ producing, but nobody else cares about the other starters scoring 25 points combined. Y'all don't care about that. Don't matter. The Hawks gave up 66 points again. Theme, right? In the paint. 16 second chance points, 22 fast break points. By the way, Davion Mitchell played that game. He was 3 of 8 in the game. Who was guarding him? Didn't look like he was killing anybody in that game, huh? Norman Powell was. Who was guarding him? 25 points on 56% shooting. Nobody cares about defense now, huh? Who's guarding Pell Larson, who had 21 points, or Wiggins, who had 18, and Khalil Ware, who had 16 and 13? Who's guarding those guys? It's never been about one player. This is just a short example. I got a little bit more detailed one coming in my second part of my last series talking about that former person. If you're going to watch the first part, go to it's the most recent show. Go look at it, okay? But it's never been about one person. See, there's this Atlanta sports broadcaster. He was at the Atlanta Hawks' most recent game in Atlanta, and he was there in person, had his microphone or whatever, and he was talking about, man, it's a tough loss and, hard fought. But, JJ had a stat stuffing game. And again, like I said before, when are you going to start calling JJ a stat stuffer? Hawks are going to lose games. Those games he has can't mean nothing, though. Doesn't matter if he has a triple-double. We lost. That's not what y'all do. That's not what y'all say. That's crazy to me. Because for 7 seasons, you had one of the best players in the NBA. I'm just saying, that is a fact. You don't have no other league leaders on the Hawks in anything. Ever. For a decade plus. Ain't nobody else who's 3rd all-time in assists and 12th in scoring. You don't got no other. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about here? It's not Dominique Wilkins anymore, obviously, right? We've only had 2 All-Stars since 2018, and one of them was a recent one. We have nobody else, nobody who's been named to a defensive team until Dyson last year. Where was all the defensive hype then? We had nobody stopping nobody, and here we are again. Nobody stopping nobody, and it don't matter. Coaching staff doesn't matter. It don't matter to the players on the floor, because if players on the floor, it mattered more, they would take more effort into doing the little things. Again, look at this. Guys, gals, the Atlanta Hawks gave up 70 points in the paint tonight. And 25 fast break points. That is not sustainable, guys. This is a game we didn't get out-rebounded, and we still got blown out. How is that possible? Listen to this. The Minnesota Timberwolves had Jaden McDaniels go 7 for 12 in a game. He is not a scorer on any level, guys, but he was 2 or 3 from 3. He had 18 points. Julius Randle was 8 of 14 from the floor, 18 points. Also had 12 rebounds. Also had 10 assists. Rudy Gobert was 7 for 7 in this game, guys, at 18 points. Of course, Ant-Man's going to get his shots. He was 11-21, 4 of 11 from 3, had 30 points, of course. Of course, right? Of course. Dante had 10 points. Naz Reid had 7. But then off the bench, Mr. Ayo, he was 9 of 13. It was a good trade for them. I knew this was going to help them out. 9 of 13. He was 69% from the floor, y'all. 50% from 3 at 21 points off the bench. And then Bones Highland, he was 5 of 7. That's your game right there, 21 and 13. What's that? 34 points off the bench. Boom, game over. We got blown out just because of that. What was the largest lead for the Minnesota Timberwolves? 31. Our biggest lead was 1 point. McCollum just shooting for his life out there. What about everyone else, guys? That's my problem with everything that's going on. Why is it so hard? This is just telling you what you need to hear now. Why is it so hard to admit that we just didn't have enough? This organization decided and chose to not put enough talent around its best player for 7 seasons. And then when you said, okay, let's get rid of that player, you're not going to put better players around the player that you got now. It ain't enough. And see, here's the other part of that is all players are different. Other players have different skill sets. And there's aspects of players being able to put players in better positions around them. And some are better at it than others. And then there's some who are better at being, clutch than others. So you really got to put the right pieces around certain players for them to be most productive. But the winning is the key. And if you don't have enough people to do what's necessary to win, you're not going to win. And this is why, again, on previous episodes of Around the ATL, there's episodes where I break down whole rosters of different teams over the decades to show you, here's a team example from where they started to where they ended up and how the roster changed, how the coaching changed to get them to a point where they could win a championship. I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls. From 1984 to 1990, they went through multiple people on the court, on the bench and on the floor to get to the point where they could be a championship contending team. Players that by themselves, not that great, but you put them in the right system, the right environment, you can win. Take Jordan out of it. OKC Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 22 points a game, 2018. And you go from 2018 on up, and that team continued to be grown and added to, mix of veterans here and there, and then all of a sudden they got a championship. And it's sustainable because you can sign everybody to a contract. And why does it work? Because they have enough players that can do their jobs on a regular basis. Not just once in a while, it's every game. And then they go and get even more talent. Can you imagine that? Let's see, did they play tonight? Let's see if they played tonight. See if I can give you a rip. Wait a minute, that's not what no, they did not. Wait a minute, let me move this over. Any late games? No, they didn't play tonight. I was going to try to bring it up. Pistons could barely beat the Hornets tonight. Look at there. Oh, wait, they are playing. So let's see what they're doing over there. They're beating the Lakers right now. So let's see. It's early on, but they're beating them 56-47. So far, Jalen Williams has 4, Chet has 7, Isaiah Hartenstein has 6, Lou Dort has 1, Jason Wallace has 6, Isaiah Joe has 16 points. Shai is not even playing in this game, and they're beating the Lakers right now. See, that's what it means to have enough. That's what it means to have enough. Caruso, 4 or 5 from the floor, 9 points. Jared McCain, 3 or 5 from the floor, 7 points. See, they have enough people that could do their jobs on a regular enough basis to where it don't matter who's on the floor, you're going to win. You got a shot to win. The Hawks aren't even competitive. We have 29 losses. When are we ever going to get enough? And why can't you make these players that aren't enough accountable? Because some of this stuff is simple stuff. Getting back on defense with a purpose, AKA knowing where your man is and then being able to scream it out when you get beat. Stop being humiliated because you didn't do your job. Help your fellow brethren out. Stop the ball on a fast break, for crying out loud. We can't do it. Lock out. Stop over helping. Rotate. Communicate on defense. We still don't know how to play a pick and roll. We disengage. I'm showing you 3 years of footage of pick and roll defense of the Atlanta Hawks. Don't matter who's on the floor. Our bigs automatically disengage. Instead of guarding the man at the top, you go and you're scared and you go back to get a rebound that may or may not happen. And you watch that ball go into the hoop every single time because they're shooting a three on you. We can't fight through a pick, by the way. I've shown you playoff action in that regard with Hunter. Can't fight through a pick. Marcus Smart is going to hold. You can't get through Marcus Smart pick. You waving your hands in the air to the ref. Hey, ref, help me. Help me. Y'all don't care. It's never mattered to you. You don't care about all these players who have underperformed drastically in the worst situations. And then just regular season games. And then you say it's that person's fault. When I'm like, but how do you say that when did you watch the game? And this is what I'm upset about mostly. And I'm gonna get off of here because I'm tired now. People watch that Charlotte game. In fact, hold on. Let me pull up that Charlotte game real quick. Let me see if I can do it. Hawks versus Hornets. Will it give me the right date without me having to scramble for it? Doobie doo. That sounds about right. February 7th. Correct. That's what I wanted. Okay, that's not what I wanted though. Hold up. Oh, is it going to give me the? Oh, okay. Well, is it going to give me the box score though? Game chart. Let's see. Cool. We gave up 56 points in the paint, 15 second chance points, only 9 fast break points. However, we let them shoot 46% from three. And we got out rebounded 49-30. Miles Bridges had 26 points in that game. How? Anybody want to give me a guess how that happened? Here's what the Hornets did that night. Con Knuppel was 8 of 15 from the floor, 6 of 11 from three by himself, 23 points. Miles Bridges, 10 of 14 from the floor, 26 points. DiBiase, 11 points. Brandon Miller had a bad shooting night. He had 16. LaMelo Ball, 19 points. This team beat us having a bad shooting night overall. I mean, they shot 48% from the floor. That's not terrible. But the problem is we couldn't stop them from getting the second chance points and doing whatever they wanted to out there. I mean, did you see? Again, I just don't think people watch the games. We got manhandled. In the meantime, again, 23 minutes, Zach was 7 of 10 from the floor, but he didn't get to play a lot. Played 23 minutes the whole game. Again, Jalen, 10 of 18, had 31 points, 9 boards, 8 assists. We lost, though, right? No one says nothing about his defense, though, right? Just let it go. Just think I better let it go. Dyson, 5 of 13 from the floor. Nickeil Walker, 3 of 15 from the floor. 2 of 8 from three. That didn't matter. That didn't matter at all. Who else was in this game? You only let Jock take 3 shots in that game. Remember, we lost this game 126 to 119. So after he scored 26, we said, no, we got to give Okongwu all the minutes we can since he's back now. And you just let Jock hit two or three from the floor. And he was done. Asa did go 2 of 2 in that game. Corey Kispert was 3 of 8. CJ was 5 of 8 at 12 points. But we gave up 126 points in the game again. And that was at home. Again, we can't win at home for nothing. But do you really care about that or not? You see what I'm saying? There's no uproar for, let me repeat this for the people who missed this at the beginning. The Atlanta Hawks have 21 losses, giving up 118 points this season. And if in your heart of hearts, you blame that other player for the 2-8 record that he was here, because that's only 10 games. We have 29 losses, and that other player only played 10 games. If you really believe, think about this, that those 8 losses was all that person's fault, with him gone, we should never lose. We have 20 losses still, guys. Removed from him. We're 11-11 since December 27th. How do we have 11 losses? No one has nothing to say, and that's the problem. 2018, 2019, we were giving up 118, 119 points a game. And then 2020, the Atlanta Hawks, with a different roster, gave up 111 points a game. The next season gave up 112 points a game. And then after that, went right back up to 118. And somehow, those 2 seasons, you still had that former player on the roster. So how do you not explain that? You see what I'm saying? It was never about defense about y'all. Y'all didn't care about defense. It didn't matter to you, because if it mattered, there would be an uproar. You'd be upset. You'd be mad. You see what I'm saying? But no, it never mattered to anybody. And that's just strange to me. Right, that's the ball. So that being said, I do have part 2 of my series, my last series in regards to discussing the final days of that former player. But I really want people to think about where are we going? What is the true direction? Where is the getting better? Because we're not even competitive right now. And I think that's the worst look that you could ever have, saying, okay, well, if you're going to get rid of the best player that the Hawks have had since the guy who has a statue, if we do that, we need to be better. If you blame that person, if you put, because that's how it looks. I don't care. It's the excuse me. It's how it looks. It's the visual of it. If you don't say it, it's the visual of it. Because people are looking at this team really weird right now. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not going to be competitive, then what else are you going to not do? Because that main trade, that initial trade, shouldn't have put you in such a hole to say, okay, we're going to rebuild. How? You see what I'm saying? And in the part it's going to really go into next year is like, how can you convince? You see what I'm saying? Others to say, okay, well, yeah, we're going to build a winner here. We don't even have a point guard still. We don't even have a point guard, y'all. We're out here playing without a point guard. And that's a fact. Oh, well, Chris, everybody's position is basketball. No, it's not. You want to put it in your mind that that's true. But Knicks have a point guard. Charlotte has a point guard. And all these other teams have point guards. Pretty good. San Antonio has a point guard. All these other teams have point guards. Just saying. You need somebody in that fourth quarter, which we keep losing fourth quarters. How many more fourth quarters are we going to lose? Did you watch the Charlotte game? I just don't believe a lot of people watch basketball. And a lot of people don't play basketball either. And that's the other problem. This is weird. You've never played basketball before. And it shows in the comments. Okay? Anyway, gotta go. Make sure you look at past episodes of Around the ATL. If you enjoyed, please make sure you share this episode with others. Again, tonight we talked about trades. We talked about defense. Pretty soon I'm going to do some other breakdowns. I'm going to do some more game films. And now that I know I got sound effects, let's try something else. Let's see. What is this? All right, let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Got sound effects, y'all. Y'all don't even know what's about to happen. I'm surprised at this. But anyway, I gotta go. Hopefully y'all have a good rest of the week. Again, I do have a Falcons show coming up again, talking about the Super Bowl and why we couldn't have been there, whatever. And got some other episodes coming up. So till next time, y'all take care. This is Chris, Around the ATL. Appreciate the support over the years. Peace.